Okay, just to ease myself into something easy to start off with. Okay, my mum is in the age group female, 85 to 89. Huge increase of risk of death from COVID infection. This is the data set I quote to lots of people. The top 10 things that kill you with COVID. My mum is in the running for the top 5, which is generally ill. She has Alzheimer's because of her condition, especially after there's a recent SALT assessment. She's very prone to respiratory diseases. Because she's in adult nappies, urinary system diseases also, and she's pre-diabetic. You might say, okay, well, there's a lot of, that's just because there's a lot of Alzheimer's around. There's a lot of, it's bound to happen. But if you look at the 5-year average, it is above the 5-year average, and the same for the lower respiratory disease. Only a little bit, but it's still there. Also, it's being implicated, COVID is being implicated in lots of things. One of the things is what my mum's got is Alzheimer's. Does it trigger it or does it accelerate it? It's not quite known, but this is based on 6 million Americans, and it's a confidence interval, and it's a lot. It's a big risk, isn't it? Okay, and there's all other kinds of neurological diseases popping up. Now, how much COVID's around? I don't know if many people know this. A lot of people think it's gone. This is Professor Tim Spector of the COVID tracking app, now called Zoe. Let's listen to what he says way back when.
And that the stuff that the BBC, etc., trot out about it being 4 times lower is just nonsense.
So the BBC were, I don't know if they do now, they use this case rate from the government data website, which is now telling us about, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 cases a day. Zoe tracking app, formerly COVID tracking app, tells us there's over 200,000 cases a day. Why is there a discrepancy? It's because testing's down. If you combine your cases and your testing, and that's what he's done here, computed them two together, Zoe incidence and official rates do tend to match, and that's what he's saying. The official data given out by the BBC is just not correct. If you look at that, you would think it's over, just a few thousand a day, but it's not. Okay, continuing on. If my mum were to get COVID, generally I wouldn't know. The main symptoms, cough, yeah, I'd noticed that. 50% people get cough, 50% don't. The other ones are things like this: headache, weakness, fatigue, sore throat. I wouldn't realise till she had them. Some people get no symptoms. That'd be great if she had no symptoms. I don't think she would get that. Now this is where it gets interesting. If you look at vaccination, lots of people, okay, I'll take that cursor off so you can see the chart. Okay, people getting the first, the second and the booster, okay, and then about early January, not much else happens vaccination wise. I'm saying this because there's still people believe, really believe, like the district nurses are saying, well, your mum's had her jabs. Well, okay, CDC, very, 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 very pro vaccinations, America. Nearly a half of hospitalised patients during BA2, which is omicron, the less serious one. I'll come on to that, okay. And a primary series, I'll come on to that also, and one or more boosters and additional doses. Okay. Multiple non-pharmaceutical and medical prevention measures are important to reduce risk for high-risk people. That's my mum. Non-pharmaceutical, that's me, our masks, our shielding, and our ventilation system. What does and of course, medical, pharmaceutical prevention measures, we wouldn't have them because I wouldn't know if my mum had COVID, probably till it's too late. So That's what the CDC say about it. What does the UK say about this? With triple vaccinated individuals, right, there's still a big risk. Even versus another age group that is old, okay, the risk is over 30 times greater in those aged 80 years or over compared with those aged 50 years. It's still a huge risk to my mum. Also, that is where my mum got a vaccination, right? Not in the deltoid, down there, about a third of the way down her arm. Okay, so it wasn't administered properly. I've had this on my... Oh, I've put it in the wrong place. But I've had this on my account on YouTube for quite a long time. 9 months ago. Okay, Chadox is the AstraZeneca. Okay, chimpanzee adenovirus, Oxford one. Against symptomatic disease. Okay, symptomatic disease. That's your Delta. Okay, quite good against Delta. This is it against... that's your zero line. That's it against Omicron. This is a preprint. It has subsequently been accepted, reprinted, okay, against symptomatic disease again, okay. Better plots, better confidence intervals. Chadox starts off at 40-60, decays down to 0 after 20 weeks. You can get it up with a booster. That's quite nice. Look at that, what it was with Delta. It was beautiful at Delta. But we're only going up to there, and then it's decaying. The rate of decay is even faster with your after your booster. It's waning. And don't forget, this is against disease, right? Symptomatic disease. Nothing else. No blood work. So, what's next? Okay, this is the big one, okay. Alpha, Delta, okay, you can see the way this goes, you can see where these go. Small peak, big peak, big peak, big peak, small peak, smaller peaks, smaller peak. What's going on? Is it the vaccinations? Antibodies, building. A lot of antibodies and decent levels at the moment. You can see what it is. A low level and a high level. Okay, when you get your challenged, your antibodies ramp up. You can also see here, the older you are, the faster your antibodies drop away versus young people. In fact, just about here, they're falling down on that area. And the old people, they're not even dropping at all with the young people. So why is all these antibodies when at some point back there I showed you that people weren't getting vaccinated since the beginning of the year, and yet people's antibodies haven't dropped back, indicating they're still getting challenged? And I found this on ONS and I'm really pleased, okay, just because I found it and what it means. Okay, of the 82% primary school pupils tested positive for antibodies, almost all were unvaccinated. Okay, 99.4% of people were unvaccinated of these primary school pupils. Why have they got all that immunity? Sorry, not immunity. I'll rephrase that. Okay, antibodies. They've got a lot of antibodies, a lot of those kids. And if you look at this, you can see it ramping up at round 1, round 2, round 3. Building. Why are the antibodies building up? Natural infection. Suggesting reinfections now are more likely to be asymptomatic. So you get your initial infection, you've got a lot of symptoms, that's where you're most ill, but then reinfection, very few symptoms. And is this the chart? That is kind of explaining it, okay. We're getting this, a lot of reinfections because of course with BA5, it's most prevalent in UK now, you're getting a lot of immune escape. It's escaping the immune system, escaping vaccine and natural immunity, but your immune system's still there fighting it. Natural immune system, and that's why we're getting these coming down, okay. So we're getting reinfections, and with each reinfection we're getting less and less disease. What have we got next? Stefan Plitz, I was trying to find a piece of information that I heard from him, and crazily enough I bumped into him on YouTube, and he sent me the reference, the sentence, and his summary. Okay, and I'd like to emphasize individual, okay, because this is my mum, right? She's a very individual person. She's got those co-morbidities. Have I shown you? No. Okay, it's next one, is it? Well, I might have missed it. I won't go back. I will go back maybe to that, but anyway, individual probability of severe COVID once you are infected decline so dramatically with reinfection, because this study, or this showed, okay, Omicron was about 75% as likely as Delta to cause hospitalisation in a non-vaccinated with no history of SARS-CoV-2. Okay, saying that Omicron, Alpha and wild type of similar intrinsic severity. So what you're seeing there, Alpha, Delta, Omicron, all about the same level of pathogenicity, 25% variation to get you 75%. Okay, 75%. What's happening is you're getting your natural immunity, because of course I've shown you somewhere there, vaccinations stop, but natural immunity is still growing, and it's there, high levels, growing, falling back a little bit because some people aren't getting challenged. Other people are. Natural immunity is there. A lot of natural immunity, growing and growing and growing with time. People are getting reinfected. Reinfections are getting less and less severe. Natural immunity is growing. I think that's everything I wanted to say. Yeah, that's everything I want to say. So there's various things going on with my mum, right? She hasn't. Right? Has she been vaccinated? Well, no, AstraZeneca. The booster was maybe not in even the right place. Well, it wasn't in the right place. Okay. So we've got a bad vaccine. We've got a booster that maybe wasn't applied properly. We've got no history of infection, which, according to that, most people now have got natural immunity. 82% of primary school pupils with positive for antibodies, but not vaccinated. No vaccines involved in that, and they've got 80% of them have got immunity to COVID. So these are all the things for my mum, and I think I'll leave it there.